I'm happy TikTok's still here because I'm addicted.
Are you making TikToks, Lucy?
Not really. My TikToks.
She makes TikToks.
My TikToks are all festival
I've seen the
TikToks.
TikTok.
We need to put in some of Lucy's TikToks into the end of this.
Oh my god, no!
I think
Lucy's
we're
TikToks.
We're gonna end on
Give
that
me
note. We're gonna end
FOMO
on
every
that note.
single
It's like,
time.
Now, cue Lucy TikToks. All right, what's up, guys? It's Justin Cott. We're back with another episode of our podcast. I'm joined by my friends Lucy and Alex. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well. I got back from Vegas on Friday. I was there for 10 days, which
10
is,
days?
9 days too long in Vegas.
Wait, was that the
hosting
NFT
a
concert
show.
thing that Lucy was telling us about?
Well, yes. So the NFT festival was that weekend. It wasn't a festival. It was more like a party. It was from 8 p.m. to pretty late. And the amount of influencers who were posting about it was insane. But I found out some weren't even acknowledging the fact that they were compensated on their stories. Some people were posting about it without even going. I'd see people making super hype videos there before anyone was around and then posting about it. It was an interesting experience for sure.
I mean, that's basically social media versus real life.
I mean, yeah, it felt like social media versus real life, the festival. So
Was it fun?
yeah, I didn't have a fun time. The second day was a lot more fun than the first. It was just kind of a weird vibe. At least for me and Andrea. Also, we got invited to go. Andrea got invited to go. They wouldn't let her in at first because she's just 19, turning 20 soon, even though they gave her NFTs and told her to come over. Security was really tough all around there. The place was kind of empty to start off with, and it got a little bit better. There was also this weird divide between all of the celebrities and the people who just came for fun. It was like a slight fence, but you'd see these A-listers and then everybody on the other side, and it felt super weird. And then there was also this moment where we got yelled at by the most influencer-y people I've met in my life, where Andrea and I were heading out. They're like, yo, come take a photos with us. And we're like, oh, no, sorry. They're like, what are you talking about? We have 3 million followers. How could you say no? What is going on? I need to get the hell out of here. I did not enjoy it. I'm not joking.
Oh my God.
And this is the first time something like that has ever happened.
So basically, you just went to this thing and gave Lucy FOMO, but didn't have a good time yourself.
Well, I would have had all
They did a
access
great
there.
job marketing. I mean, this was all access, Lucy. It was all access. I don't think you missed much. People made it look a lot cooler than it actually was.
Well, I was at Keith's private birthday party
Yeah.
where Tiesto played privately, so that was pretty cool.
How big was that? Like, this is so Keith had a birthday party where he got Tiesto. I feel like one of the things that I hate about private parties where you get someone really big is like there's not a crowd. Often, I mean, usually, I don't know how big his birthday
I
party
don't know.
was, but,
I
like,
think
you want,
gay
like, when you're
men
listening
can
to, like-
dance, and like
Yeah.
it was a dance floor in
Okay.
his backyard with just like 30 gay guys vibing. I had a great time.
That's your scene.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I love being the only woman.
Let's see, what did I? This is
What
last weekend. What did I do last weekend? I threw a party too. Actually, it sounds like we all had a party. I threw a party in San Francisco, where you I found this place that you can rent out. It's like an apartment above all the strip clubs on Broadway Street, and you can rent this like little apartment spot that has a set of Function One speakers and a DJ setup, and you rent the whole thing for $2,000, which is incredible. So I threw my own party
Damn.
and
That's so
DJ'd
good.
my own party.
Wait, what's the
Yeah,
capacity
it's
limit?
it's probably like 50 people. It's pretty small. Yeah,
That makes sense.
it's like an
nice
apartment.
and cozy.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't get more than 50 people to want to show up and listen to me DJ anyway. So that's like the perfect size.
Wait, did you DJ the entire night?
No, I was DJing with my friend Steve Huffman, who's the CEO of Reddit. We were like going back to back, and then this guy, another kind of mutual friend of ours, came in. Or this guy, I didn't really know him actually, but he's a friend of a friend, and he came in and he was like, I guess he really wanted a DJ, so we kind of just like let him take over. He's like played in Ibiza, and then people were like, oh, we want to hear this, Herman, and like so Herman came and he played, and he was great, but like yeah, I kind of got
he
I
took
got
your star
I kind of
power.
got I kind of got kicked off, but it's okay because I'm not good. I'm not good. It was like practice. It was practice.
It's okay. The enthusiasm makes up for the skill level.
Exactly. It's all, I got my, head bobbing and I'm like listening to these, I look cool. I was great. Really, I got the
Exactly.
DJ look down.
You do have a DJ look.
Right? I was in, where was I? In the Amalfi Coast over the summer. And this couple comes up to me and they're like, the guy's like, can she take a photo with you? Like his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, I thought, it's in Italy, so I thought they were like, they kind of, I thought maybe they were like, didn't speak English. And so he was like asking me to take a photo of them. So I was like, yeah, sure. Give me your phone. I'll take a photo of the two of you. And then he was like, no, she wants to take a photo with you. You're that DJ, right? And I was like, no, that's.
Oh no!
Oh, they thought you were Steve Aoki.
Oh,
I can see it. They definitely thought you were Steve
Come on.
Aoki.
He has a beard and his hair is straight.
Yeah, he looks very different
I
than
know.
you. Just that you're both
But a lot of
Asian and
Asian-
have long hair, but that's about it.
A lot of
I think I
Asians-
look more like you, Lucy. I think my hair looks closer to yours than Steve Aoki's,
I can see that when I curl my hair. Yeah. This is my post-berries
and
hair.
before you went blonde. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it. I mean, there's only so much living vicariously through your guys' amazing parties that I can do before the FOMO will literally kill me. What should we talk
Well,
about
it feels
today?
like your parties are always fun as well, to be fair.
Just
I
come to
think you and Lucy
Miami
have-
and we can take you out.
That's true.
I'm gonna come to Miami in May, and there's permissionless. Yeah, or I'm gonna go to Palm Beach. Is that
You
a
should
place?
come to, yes it is,
Yeah.
it's up north. You should come to Miami for Miami Tech Week though.
I can't. That's next week, right?
No, that's like April
Isn't it at the end of
18 through
April?
24.
Oh, what's gonna happen? Tell us all about all the cool stuff that's gonna happen in Miami Tech Week.
Well, a lot of cool people are hosting it. So, like the founder of TechCrunch, Founders Fund, Palm Tree Crew. There's going to be a lot of really cool side parties with like Andreessen Horowitz, Craft Ventures, Gradient, us. Just like a lot of different things going on, and then lots of DJs. A lot of really, really good DJs playing festival lineups essentially. It'll just be investors and
For tech
founders and
conference.
engineers all in Miami hanging out. It'll be fun.
Seems like a good mix of work and play.
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, is there? Yeah, I feel like it's an excuse
Probably
to go
more
party.
play, let's
yeah.
be real.
Yep,
Exactly.
definitely. I will. Yeah, more play. But I'm excited for the play.
Are you gonna throw an event?
I am helping, and by helping, I mean I'm just like helping create the guest list, and apparently going to be co-sponsoring it, the official after party with 137 Ventures at Venetian Islands House. So that should be good. And then we have a like mini demo day with our HF0 fellows, but that's really it. The party will be fun though.
Well, there's the Lucy pitch. We'll see if it's enough to bring Justin over to Miami.
I
It should
don't
be
think
enough to
so.
bring you
I don't think
over.
so, but yeah, Alex, are you gonna go?
So I might play in this chess tournament for the first time since COVID, because the winner qualifies to play for the World Cup for the Canadian team. They get an automatic spot at the Olympiad. And the number one seed is my friend. She was just visiting, and she's not going to play anymore. So now there's actually a chance that I could win. So I need to decide if I'm going to play that tournament. But that will be like 3 days of like 12 hours a day of chess. That'll be pretty intense. So if I travel to that, then I don't think I can make Tech Week. I need to decide.
So you can become the Canadian. You can play even representing the Canadian team if you win this tournament, even if you're not Canadian.
Well, I am Canadian.
Oh,
So
shit.
I actually grew
Oh.
up playing for the Canadian team, but I'm dual citizen. I'm American Canadian, so it's a little bit confusing. But yeah, I've played on the Olympiad team 3 times before. Last time I think was when I was 19, and then I had a bad tournament because I wasn't able to train. I was busy doing like the Lightspeed Fellowship. I was working all the time. I didn't train for chess. I went and I lost like half a year's rating progress. Got super sad about it. I was like, I'm never playing chess again. But you know, enough time has passed, and I had some tournaments since then, so I'm kind of ready to maybe try another competitive tournament again and see how it goes.
You should do it. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're going to
Yeah,
crush it.
it'll just be heartbreaking if I don't do well, because chess is fun when you're winning, but when you like sitting down and playing like 6 hours of chess only to lose, and like you've also prepared for it several hours, is really depressing, especially when there's people watching and you take time off to go play. So it's risky too.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I vote you go. You should go for it.
I should just
wanted
go
to see
for it
what
and try
happens.
it. Yeah.
I'm a competitive
Yeah, I kinda wanna go
person,
too.
so I think you should go, even
Exactly.
if it means I won't see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Which makes me very, very,
Oh.
very, 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 very sad. So she said,
Well, look, if I do poorly, I'll just withdraw and go to Miami instead.
I'll give you comfort hugs.
There we go. That's always a backup.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. As long as withdrawing doesn't mess up their tournament. But yeah, so I'll figure that out. But don't want to go too deep into the chess talk.
All right. Yeah, no one will understand it. They'll be like, I don't get it. She's good. She's better than me. That's the limit of my understanding of chess. All right, let's talk about some topics. So, Metaverse Fashion Week. Did you guys hear about this? Apparently, Forever 21, DKNY, Estee Lauder are doing a 4-day digital event that takes place in Decentraland, which I didn't even know you could go into Decentraland yet, to show people how to shop in virtual worlds. Yeah, like, do you think, is this a thing? I don't know if those brands are really a big draw. I mean, is Forever 21 like a giant draw for a fashion week? Lucy, you're a resident fashion expert. You gotta weigh in.
I would say that like it's not that big of a draw for Fashion Week, but I do know that like smaller brands have been doing very, very well hosting metaverse events. I think that like their draw is just new demographics. So the primary user pool of NFTs are like 18 to 34-year-old men. So large brands entering the space will be able to like capture new demographics. So maybe in this case, they are trying to capture men. I think it's more scalable. It shows like innovation on the brand side and technological adoption. And I mean, if the brand does well, it can further up different like business lines for themselves. And I think that like other brands are entering the space because in the past other brands have done well. So like for example, I know that L'Oreal held a metaverse event to like advertise a perfume, and basically the perfume sold out near instantly after this event, and that's like never happened in their life or like of the lifetime of the
That's
company. At least
amazing.
this person was like here. Yeah.
And
That's
what was
amazing.
the event like?
You can't even smell the perfume, right? Like in,
Yeah, you
in
can't
this,
smell it.
like you don't. It's all digital.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
like smelling attachment to your peripheral to your computer yet. So it's just like
Yeah,
you're
it's
just
crazy.
buying it because it's like hyped.
Yep, but the hype was
Amazing.
good enough. The event was really just so everyone was in there like had these like moving avatars and a TV screen as the head, and the TV screen was your video camera, and you just go around, and then the space was designed to look like what's that one club in New York that's like really popular?
In Europe,
In New York. Like
I feel like
One Oak?
this is your area of expertise.
yeah.
The popular clubs.
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
go to
old.
this club.
Marquee,
no, it's not a basic club.
Avenue.
No, it's not a basic club. It's like one of
Oh.
the more like cool hipster
Wow.
clubs.
Oh, okay. It's like
I think it's in
like one of these
Brooklyn.
Burning Man clubs.
Yes, I think it's like Brooklyn.
House of Yes.
Yes,
House of Yes.
yes.
That's not
Okay,
a club.
so
That's like a warehouse venue.
that's a club.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
It is a club, and it's very eccentric, and they have different themes, and they're definitely one of the most popular clubs in Brooklyn.
Exactly. So the House of
Alright.
Yes, it was designed by the House of Yes designers to like essentially be like Metaverse House of Yes.
I invested in this company called Space Runners, which is like a Metaverse sneaker fashion brand, and they sell sneakers. They did like a drop with Kyle Kuzma that I think sold like $8 million worth of digital sneakers on Solana, and but
Wow.
like nobody's able to use these in anything yet. Like you're not able to like put these sneakers on in any digital world yet. So like I don't know. I'm a little. What do you think? Where is this going? Like, are people going to be able to wear their like digital fashion around in the metaverse?
One thing I've seen happening is people having wearables and then their digital twins. So, for example, luxury brands that come with an NFT as a way to authenticate it, which does actually make more sense in terms of utility, especially for these luxury brands where the value comes in being able to prove that it's authentic. But Lucy, what do you think people are going to start showing it off? You're kind of like the NFT expert in terms of the high end ones.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, what I can imagine is that, like maybe Gucci allows people to create derivatives off their brands. So I know there was like that NFT collection with the Hermes bags that did very, very well, supposedly, and they ended up getting sued. But it'd be interesting if like Hermes offered a license for creators to create things with Hermes products and they get royalty fees because that could expand the revenue top line. I've seen a lot of authentication.
Wait, someone sold. Did someone sell counterfeit Hermes bags, like
No,
on
no, no.
like digitally?
They sold NFTs that looked like Hermes bags,
Ah,
but they were
interesting.
fuzzy. So it was like, the Birkins, but fuzzy Birkins.
Okay,
Oh,
but it was an
okay.
NFT. You didn't
It
actually get
was
a
just an
bag. It was just an
NFT. Yeah.
NFT.
Yeah.
And then Hermes sued them.
Yes.
But is that like I mean, does your, you know, did it say Hermes on it, or like does the
No.
shape of it
It
extend
just looked
to a
exactly like a
digital
Birkin, but that's
thing?
it. Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
else besides that. I didn't know you could sue for that, but apparently you can.
You could sue anyone for anything. I just wonder if they'll win. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but a trademark or lawyer,
Yeah, I'm
but
not a lawyer
it
either.
seems like doesn't your trademark only extend to like the domain that
I
you're
also
in,
thought that like you could use certain IP for fan art, and I would have considered that fan art, but
I don't know. It's a brave new world.
Yeah,
So
that
like,
feels like free creative use if you're adding your own value to it.
are people going to like? I guess eventually, like the bull case in here is like, eventually they have a digital avatar. They're taking it to Decentraland and the Sandbox and all these different like virtual worlds, and then your digital avatar has your Supreme jacket and Birkin bag and like all this digital stuff that you've bought for some insane amount of ETH, and then you're like walking around like looking fresh in the metaverse, but and people kind of know that it's not counterfeit, right? That's the dream.
and I guess
Yeah, I think this is the big picture. And I guess it would go even beyond just luxury brands because long term it's going to affect every retailer, not just the prestigious ones. So it's actually interesting to see brands like Forever 21 that are not luxury brands starting to do this. And I'm curious to
Yeah,
see how well they're going to do.
that's a good point.
Also weird that it's Forever 21 and Estee Lauder, which are mainly targeted towards women, even though like most crypto use cases are male.
I think here's my bold prediction. Actually, I think eventually we'll see people spend more money on digital stuff, or as much money on digital stuff as stuff in the real world. As people get more and more spend more and more of their time online, like the number of people that you can show off to and flex in front of is much greater in the digital world, right? If you buy a Bored Ape, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but if you buy a Bored Ape and you put that as your Twitter avatar, everybody who goes by you or like goes by your profile on Twitter or sees your tweets can like know that you're, a Bored Ape owner or whatever. Versus if you buy a piece of physical art, you know, you buy really expensive. I mean, I'm not that big of an art fan, so I don't know what's a really expensive piece of art. You buy like a Damien Hirst piece of art or something, and then put that in your house. But like, very few people will actually see that and be like, "Oh, that guy's the man."
yeah, I definitely agree that people are going to be spending more on the metaverse, but I would say that like you can already see this with artists. So you mentioned Damien Hirst, but like Thank You X used to make only physical pieces, and now that he's making NFT plus physical pieces, those are going for a lot more. That being said, his NFT and physical pieces are really cool. So it's like an NFT behind the physical piece, and the physical piece will like have a hole, so you can see the NFT portion in the background. But a lot of artists are moving towards NFTs because they realize that they're just making so much more with them, or they're attaching NFTs with their physical artwork, so they can get the like royalty fees when it resells.
All right. On that note, let's talk about the Bored Apes acquisition of CryptoPunks and Meebits. It's like the biggest deal in NFTs to date, right? They didn't announce how much they bought it for, did they?
I don't think so, but CryptoPunks market cap I think was around like 1.6 billion or so. So it must have been a lot of money.
Well, that's like the value of all CryptoPunks, right? Was like 1.6
Yeah.
bill, but like CryptoPunks themselves had only retained a couple hundred CryptoPunks, right? Plus
Right.
the IP value of the CryptoPunks.
Which now they're changing. So I guess that must have been taken into the calculus as well.
Yeah. And then concurrently, Yuga Labs, the Bored Apes company, raised $450 million at a $4 billion valuation. And they're launching ApeCoin, right? Or a foundation that's associated with them is launching like this ApeCoin. So they're doing a lot. It's pretty interesting. I don't have any like precedent or understanding of like how much an NFT collection could be worth. You know, like I mean, the value
Well,
of an
it's
NFT company like this.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of crazy now that Yuga Labs is owning the biggest, I mean, the biggest two NFT projects, but also like 5 out of the top 20. And they're kind of going towards building like a decentralized Disneyland. And they're definitely, I think, the most innovative company. It's weird to say company for so many different NFT projects, but in the space in terms of what they've been trying to do with the vision. Although it has been a big debate in the crypto community about whether they will be able to build a decentralized brand or whether it's important to have central control. Because how much can you trust if all of the Bored Ape Yacht Club holders are able to build their own brand on their specific apes, and if people with CryptoPunks are able to do that, people might do it in ways like starting a weed company. How would that impact other people who are holding apes as well if they don't agree with the decisions?
Like if you made your Bored Ape into like an escort Bored Ape or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
or like a heroin user Bored Ape. And
Right.
then they just
And
made a lot
I
of
mean,
content around that.
and I imagine that most people wouldn't want to do that because they're financially incentivized for the brand to do well, but it only takes a few bad apples. So it is a very crazy social experiment and just company experiment overall.
That's hilarious. I kind of want to do that. Buy a Bored Ape and make it just do something really like terrible and just release like a cartoon series of my Bored Ape who's like, I don't know, like
Doing
a heroin
something
user
awful.
or like doing something. Oh yeah, it's awful. I actually my hypothesis though would be like, it would make it even more part of the culture. You know, like Bored Ape would be like. I mean, you'd have to do something like truly degenerate and horrible, I think, for it to be like to have like a really negative splashback. But like,
I
think
have
that,
some ideas, but they're so horrible I can't even say them out loud.
I know. I was
Oh,
thinking. I was
gosh.
thinking.
Now
the
I
same
have
thing.
bad
I
ideas.
was sort of like, yeah. But like, this is you know, I think that Bored Ape is like, I think that it's pretty genius actually the way that they've allowed anybody to who's holder to like have the IP and like do what they want with it, because it's kind of proliferate. Like I've seen people like do cartoons with them, and like, you know, isn't like Rolling Stone making like a band with
Yeah.
like a Bored Ape in it? And
Yeah,
like,
WME bought one of them and they're turning it into a star as well. I'm not sure if this was the same one.
yeah. So that's you know, it's kind of interesting because the art is so distinct. It like, I think having it be ubiquitous out there increases the value of the whole collection.
I mean, even 11 bought a Bored Ape, and it's their official mascot now, and you see it like all over the screens at 11 anytime you go. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what it is. You can't control the brand, but I
Yeah.
guess Bored Ape brand is a little bit degenerate and out there, so it kind of goes along with it. You can't really do something that would shock people because you're just giving control to a ton of random holders what they want to do with the brand. The IP rates is interesting. So I was listening to the Bankless podcast earlier this week, and one of the things I learned from there is that right now Yuga is licensing their IP to Bored Ape holders, but that's something that could be changed in the future, say if they were to be acquired by a bigger company. So it's not true IP rights just yet, but they are really entrusting Yuga Labs in that. Because I think the only way they'd be able to do that is make it like Creative Commons, but then that would give everybody the rights to the Bored Apes.
I see. So like you get a license as the holder, but like that could change at any point. So
Exactly.
you have this
From
amount,
what I understood
this
on the
trust.
podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little. It's hard to want to build a business on top of that, I guess. Although if they change it, like that would destroy the community trust, right? So they would have to
Exactly.
really, something. I guess they'd have to really get a huge bag from from Disney or something to want to be able to do that, want to change it. Do you think that Do you think that I guess Yuga Labs is kind of emerging like Disney, right? Where they're this huge IP holder. Do you think they're going to have this large number of the top NFT projects? Is this going to end up being like a head of the tail situation where instead of something being really decentralized, it turns out like one company is going to control all this like premium IP and in the NFT space?
Yeah, I think that's one of the concerns because, like I mentioned, they own like 5 out of the top 20. They own Mutant Apes, CryptoPunks, Meebits, and another one that I forgot. But at the same time, they've also proven to be one of the most successful at kind of leading these decentralized brands. So it feels like a double-edged sword where you're going away from the ethos of crypto, but it's also a company that people have trusted. But it's only been around for a year as well. So I guess time will tell. Do either of you guys have apes?
I have a mutant ape.
I don't know. You have a mutant ape?
You have a mutant ape? Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to buy an ape, but then I feel like it's a
Yeah,
little
is
bit.
now a good time to buy after this?
I actually think it's really interesting.
Like kind of overvalued.
So the reason I don't think it's that overvalued is because I think that like it's kind of like art. It's only worth as much as people determine it's worth, but people determine it's worth quite a bit, and you don't really see art going down in value. Like Basquiat pieces keep going up, and art almost like owning a Basquiat piece. It feels almost like a very exclusive, expensive social club, and I've mentioned this the last podcast, but I think that like Bored Apes Yacht Club is like an expensive social club you get to join, and it's a really awesome status flex for people. I think the thing about Bored Apes is they have been doing a really good job keeping the community tight and constantly surprising the community with like new merch drops, the Ape Coin drop, etc. Along with like tons of real life events, both like hosted by I guess like Bored Ape admins or whoever runs like the main Bored Ape group and members in different cities. So I don't know, like I think that it's just going to continue going up personally. And the interesting thing about NFTs is that like NFT prices tend to like stay steady or go up. So as Ethereum goes down, like your NFT is price, the NFT of like the price of 4 days is probably still going to go up. Like it will go up because now ETH is cheaper, and then when ETH goes up, NFT prices still go up. So it's kind of a win-win here.
But like the relative value of your Bored Ape is continuing to climb, is what you're
Yes.
saying. So you think I should buy one now? If I'm going to buy one, I should buy it now.
I feel like it's been a better investment than holding ETH.
That's I mean, you're saying like this whole space is like a year old, right? Like a year and a half old, maybe. Like I don't know that there's.
Yeah, like I think that almost every NFT is going to be worth a zero, straight up. I think Bored Apes are a blue chip exception, and they by far have the strongest community.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little torn because on one hand, like I agree with you. Actually, I'm a long-term Bored Ape bull in that I'm like, okay, the premium, and it's like, it's part of the culture now. It's kind of crossed over the mainstream. People know about it, and so I think it's not going to go away, right?
Yes.
Like, but then at the same time, I feel like, and then I think there's short-term tailwinds, and the short-term tailwinds are like Coinbase NFT is going to come out, and then there's all these people who are going to have access to like buying NFTs, and that's gonna push NFT prices up. But then at the same time, I'm kind of like, I feel like all these speculative assets are getting crushed right now, and that's going to apply to NFTs and Pokemon cards and like all sorts of other speculative stuff, and so I kind of worry on the like 6-month time horizon how things will do. So like I guess I'm like on the fence, you know. I kind of want to buy one, but I don't know. Maybe I'll regret not doing it if I do.
I'm very happy I bought mine when it was 5 ETH, 6 ETH. Very, very.
Wait, what did you
very
buy? But you bought a mutant ape, right?
Yeah, exactly. I wish I bought the board, but no, I wish I spent all my like. I wish I spent more assets buying more mutants. Like I really just found the girliest
Okay.
mutant I could buy and bought it because I just wanted a girl mutant ape. But yeah, my regret is not buying more.
What's preventing you from buying a board ape right now?
Not much. I would just need to, I guess, like put in money into Coinbase Pro,
got-
then transfer it to my
gotta
MetaMask
f-
wallet, then go buy it, and I haven't really got
that's
time to do
a very
it.
difficult process.
So like funding your ETH account enough. All right, maybe we should both buy one then, Lucy.
Maybe. Yeah, I need to find a girly
Yeah.
one. Oh, I have been looking at board apes for a while. It's just that like all the girl ones, like there's just something off with them. Like there's one with pink hair. It's super cute, but then it has a hairy mustache. I don't want that. I need a perfect one.
What's wrong with the little upper lip hair?
Yeah, that's just
Because
They're
I'm
monkeys.
Asian.
That's how
I
they
don't
are.
grow hair. We know this, Alex. It's not representative
That
of
is
me.
true. Blessed genetics. So is buying ApeCoin another way to get exposure to the Bored Apes? I mean, obviously it's a governance token, and they haven't explained too much of the roadmap. I think what they said is like a primary token for the ecosystem as well as their future products and services. But it feels like there's kind of a separation between the people who own the apes and the people who want the governance tokens, even though they gave them to everyone who has the apes as well.
it's going to be used for a game, right? Like, isn't ApeCoin? Then they say they're going to build a game. Like everyone who has an NFT collection wants to build a game because they're like, this is a way
Right.
to add utility to our thing, and like utility. You know, if we claim that we're going to create some utility behind our NFT project, then it's people are going to buy in, and it's going to
Yeah.
continue mooning.
Is Yuga Labs the one building the game, or are there? Because I did hear about a game as well, but I wasn't sure if it was Yuga or some of the Bored Ape Yacht Club members.
I'm not sure. I think like the Yuga Labs itself is actually not releasing ApeCoin. I think they created a foundation to do it. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Okay, got it.
But
Lucy typing furiously.
Sorry.
Stone cold.
Multitasking.
Your words per minute are very high.
I got caught
doing deals
multitasking.
right now. She's trying to trying to search for her ideal bored ape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. What's next? Should we talk about NFT collections that have failed?
Every single one?
It
Yeah.
seems like there's like you're so Lucy, you just said the most NFT collections are going to be worth zero. Do you think that's the case? Like it seems like everyone and their mom has an NFT collection right now or is launching one.
Yeah, I think the thing about like most NFT collections is that like the newness factor is gone. A lot of people like did make them to do rug pulls. Like I have a friend even that like churns out NFT collections, has a team build like the NFT collection, build up the community, etc. launch, and he's made like tens of millions in the last year doing so. But it really is somewhat like gambling. I think a lot of people, like even high schoolers, are like, oh my God, I can make like tens of thousands of dollars flipping NFTs. But that's like if you get a rare one. And if you don't, like, then your NFT is most likely worthless. Most communities don't have a good enough roadmap to like make it worthwhile. I think secondary trading volumes like have decreased in the month for a lot of different reasons. World War III is
But
happening.
maybe we can explain how this works for people, because like it took me a while once I got into space to understand like the whole way that like NFT collections work, like how you release them, and then like that you might get rare features and like that, you know, that kind of like lottery aspect to it. Lucy, can you kind of explain this to the layperson who isn't like, you know, flipping JPEGs as a degen?
Yeah, well, I guess most NFT collections, for whatever reason, will launch between 5,000 to 10,000 NFTs, so they can make more money with a lower mint price. Mint price is the amount you have to spend to essentially get the NFT upon launch. So, you basically just connect your MetaMask wallet, you pay the mint price and gas fee, and then you get an NFT. Usually there's a launch date, so you don't get to see what your NFT is. And in these like collections of 5,000 to 10,000 NFTs, there are attributes. So in a character, it could be like the background color, the like what sorts of eyes your NFT has, so what hat the character has, what clothes they're wearing, etc. And each one of these has like a rarity factor. So maybe like only 0.01% of NFTs in this collection that has blue sunglasses, but 50% have a like black hoodie. And based off of this, a rarity score is calculated. And if you have a rare NFT, so usually there's like a few one of ones released where you're the only person with this NFT, or yeah, like those are considered legendaries usually. Or you get like something super rare, like a top 100, top 50, you can usually flip it for quite a lot of money, because there's always a buyer, because there's like a whale that's just, you know, gambling a little bit and like, okay, like I want the one of one, so I'll spend like 30K on this NFT that has not proven itself yet. So this is how high schoolers are making a lot of money. Yeah.
So people are like buying, you're basically signing up and you're saying, okay, I'm going to buy into this mint, and you get a random one of the 10,000 NFTs when you buy the thing, and you're spending, you know, I don't know, 0.25 ETH on it, which is like, you know, $750 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then if you randomly happen to get one that's rare, like distribution wise, then it could be worth a lot. If you get one that's like some basic one, it's only going to be worth a lot if the collection happens to go up in general, like in aggregate. And that usually only happens if like there's a lot of hype around this specific collection. But most collections kind of like the trading volume dies off, the floor price, aka the like minimum like the price of the cheapest listed NFT in that collection, generally it like goes down over time, and then they kind of falls off, and most of these collections just become DOA.
Yep, exactly. So I was minting a lot of random NFTs before, and now my strategy is just like if I like the art, like the artist, then I will just buy it to support the artist. Or I want like real utility to come out of the NFT. Utility being expensive membership club for me personally. So I spent 25 grand on this NFT that I thought was just.
Yeah, we talked about this
I
last
know.
time.
I thought I was just.
Was this the one for the table at
I know, but you know what I'm getting now? So it turns out they have an entire like plane fleet and yacht fleet. So I'm flying to Coachella on a private jet from Miami to Coachella for only $5,000 a seat. But like that's an insanely cheap price for like this jet.
All right, so you got a private jet seat. Are these things sustainable, or is this whole thing a giant Ponzi? You know, like are they selling these things for more and more, like because you know you're hyping it up, you're going out here being like this is the best membership club.
So
you know,
they have different tiers. There's going to be like a limited amount of NFTs per tier. So I have the gold tier. They're launching the platinum tier and a diamond tier. And
you better buy those ASAP.
I'm debating whether it's worth it, because like the perks have been surprisingly good so far.
I feel like a lot of people listening, sometimes it seems like NFTs are so inaccessible for most people, especially the ones that are tied to any kind of status. I wonder if that has an impact on how people view NFTs, and if that's something that has to change long term for there to be, you know, widespread adoption.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Like, is this conversation turning people off NFTs?
Yeah, like, I'm never going to be able to afford this, you know? Right, and also for the people who do get into it, like it's just so many people coming in for a cash grab, which is why I don't think anybody was surprised that all of these, 10K PFP projects are failing, because they were just derivative of the previous ones with no utility other than, mimetic value and people valuing it because others do. But when is it going to be something for, like the average person in the US that actually has, is there a version of an NFT that provides somebody who, is the average American who could benefit from some kind of online status with an NFT, or is it going to have to evolve to different use cases?
I don't think online status necessarily, like they'd have to get very lucky, and if they're looking for online status, have this NFT actually pop off. Then they got in at a cheap price, and then it just happened to go up in value. I think that someone can make a lot of money and then be able to afford a blue chip NFT by flipping NFTs, and like being somewhat smart about the NFTs they are buying and flipping. Other than that, I think that there are a lot of NFTs with like real world use cases that are on the cheaper side. Like there's a nonprofit NFT that got launched called 10K Hearts, where they're trying to support like women Web3, and one of the real world benefits is they're throwing a giant party in Miami tomorrow. That's supposed to be really nice. I won't be there, but yeah, like party access.
I think I'd have a different answer. I think that just like right now, a lot of the attention and hype is on these like Bored Apes and like really expensive NFTs. But I actually think there's gonna be NFTs that people buy that are more like cosmetics for games, for example, that are like kind of rare, but they're like there's like 100,000 of them. Like I was talking to the CEO of this company, Mythic Games, that makes a thing called Blankos, and it's a game that's you can play right now. It's probably one of the most successful NFT games actually, but they don't really talk about them as NFTs. They are NFTs, but they're just like in-game cosmetics, and you buy this stuff, you can sell them on the marketplace, but then they launch drops that are like tens of thousands, and it's some of these things are like $5 or $10. They're not, they have ones that are like hundreds of dollars or even like low thousands, but like mostly it's kind of like a replacement for an in-game cosmetic that people want.
Yep,
It's like that's a lot more successful.
Yep. I just invested in a company that they are doing these 3D models for games, and they're NFTs essentially, and then you can import them in the different virtual worlds, which is pretty interesting. So eventually, like Sandbox, Decentraland, and be able to like have this character follow you around into all the different games, not just one game, which is fairly interesting. Because I think nowadays, like if you own a character in like League of Legends, I don't really play League of Legends, so I don't know if that's how it works. It only exists there. I think that I like really NFTs are just like, hey, you own this thing and it's tied to the blockchain, right? So I just saw another company that is selling houses via NFTs. Completely legally.
What
Not
kind
sure
of
how.
Like a actual house.
Yeah, I have to look it up, but apparently they've turned houses.
That's
They've done it for two
pretty
houses.
crazy.
Yeah, they've done it for two houses where like they sold it via auction and it was transferred via NFT. I've seen other like there was a Twitter project going on where they created a DAO and they were going to like drop the title of the house as an NFT to some like random lucky DAO like member.
You just get a house. If you're part of this DAO, there's like a lottery to get a house.
I think that was it.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I think the cool thing about all these crypto assets is that it's really easy to transfer them and trade them, right? Like I think that's part of what this wave is with DAOs, like Link's DAO or something like that. It's a really easy way for people to like fund and like to get involved and fund a project that they care about. And so I guess insofar as like real estate, I mean, Lucy, you've done a real estate transaction. I've done one, a lot in the past. It's like, it's a pain in the ass. You have to do all this, it's tons of paperwork and it's confusing. There's all these steps. So maybe the future is, you just buy an NFT and then that's your title and then you own the house. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of ties back to the whole big value with how CryptoPunks are also going to get their IP rights right now, and making sure that NFT owners also actually have the rights to whatever they have, which feels like the next evolution.
Yeah, I think people are gonna. We'll see a lot more experimentation with different ways that like the rights holders own the rights. I think the Bored Ape one of like the Bored Ape owners get the license to the rights is huge, and that's I think that was super smart. That might be like more that like as innovative as kind of anything else in the NFT space actually. All right, final couple topics. What else do we have? LinkTree. You wanted to talk about that?
Yes. So I found this topic particularly interesting. So LinkTree, in case somebody is not familiar, is the link you see a lot of people having in their social media profiles where you click on it and then it tells you a little bit about them and it has links to all of their other sites. And LinkTree was valued at over $1 billion, which is kind of insane for, a link aggregator, but I think it's also reflective on how social profiles are valuable pieces of real estate, and that transfer out layer is very valuable. But it's also the kind of startup that traditionally people wouldn't expect to work because it doesn't really have a moat. They're depending on other platforms to build it. So it's kind of like the classic meme where you're pitching to VCs and they're like, what if Google builds this? And you guys have obviously had a lot of experience raising companies. So what are your thoughts on how LinkTree was able to pull this off, and whether they're going to be able to succeed, or there's going to be incumbents coming and building their own, or even just a ton of startup competitors? I've seen 2 in just the last week.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like infinite of these companies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy, go ahead.
Yeah, it's actually been mind blowing to me how they got this valuation, because I don't think it's that defensible. I actually haven't used Linktree, but my guess is that they probably just have the easiest UI UX. I think they probably built in a lot of analytics that make it defensible. My guess is that like people want to see the month over month change. They want to see like all the analytics on, I don't know, like what links are being clicked, and compare it to previous data. And there's probably no easy way to import data to another platform at the moment. These are all guesses because I don't use Linktree. I don't think anyone in-house has built it yet, because it just isn't that core to their business. Like, it's not gonna up the number of users, up revenue for like these companies, so they just let it exist within another company, which is typically true of like B2B businesses, I guess. Like if you're building an API, for example, like other companies are going to use Stripe because it does not make sense to build a credit card processing system in-house, even if they are taking a ton of fees. Main guesses.
Yeah, I think so Linktree, I heard they were doing about 10 million of ARR last year. That was about a year ago. Maybe it's like doubled since then. I think they probably have pretty good growth, but in general, that like $110 million at a $1.3 billion valuation is pretty rich. I don't think there's like a lot of defensibility in that. Linktree is like first, right, to invent this, but
Yep.
there's Beacons, Universe, all these other companies that are doing like a, simple, link in bio website builder. And
Right.
some of them I think are growing faster. I don't think there's necessarily a network effect except for people seeing the like URL, right? Like the Linktree URL. But I don't know. Which one do you use, Alex? You use Linktree?
I actually wasn't using any right now. I heard Beacons pitch recently because they were pitching at this like creator Shark Tank event.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how they were using the link in bio just as a growing mechanism, and all of their growth with Beacons has been organic. And then after that, I was like, honestly, I should update my social bio. So I looked at Linktree, I looked at Beacon. I need to look at some other ones as well. But yeah, you can definitely see that Beacon is adding things on top of what Linktree has done. I don't know if the other competitors are doing it even better, but it was definitely more flexible to use, which is why a lot of creators in the audience had already actually switched to Beacons.
Yeah.
But the way Beacons was propositioning it was like, this is how we're going to get creators first. We're going to give them everything we can for free through this link in bio tool, and then try to build on top of that with like getting all of their analytics and helping them do like one pagers and helping them invoice. So really building a creator economy startup off of the back of this is how you get your creators initially, but not as a standalone business.
Yeah, and I think maybe people will be able to make that transition to like build another business on top of it, but that's not guaranteed. If I was LinkTree, I mean, at a $1.3 billion valuation, they should. So when your equity is like super overvalued, you should sell the company, or they should basically use their equity to buy something that's a little bit more durable of a business, I think. So if I was them, I'd be thinking about like, how do I diversify away from this? Because I think that you're right. It's like it takes like 5 seconds to set up an alternative to LinkTree.
Yep. I mean, maybe Lucy's point of if they have stored your data, month over month, you want to have that long-term data, which is more interesting.
Do you give a shit about that? You're a creator.
Yeah,
Do you care about that?
I mean, I like seeing long-term data, but not enough that I wouldn't switch to a better product.
Yeah.
So if one is more flexible in terms of the links I could put and all of the description and it looks better, I would just swap.
Yeah, see, I think
but that's the thing. I would swap from them as soon as a new one comes. There isn't a lot of defensibility. It's not that hard to set up.
Yeah, that's a terrible business then. Yeah.
But so what kind of companies would you look at buying if you were LinkTree?
I would think about what's a durable business that we can sell to creators that has more lock-in with our creators. Like I don't even know if this is the right thing, but I'm just making this up off the top of my head. But like, for example, there are people who are trying to buy portfolios of YouTube videos and then give you, it's like Pipe for YouTube videos, right? I think like Jelly Smack does this, right? Where they basically like buy your portfolio and then they give you like a payout of like 60 or 70% of your future ad revenues or something like that. And that's something where you could think like they have they're one of the expensive parts of that business is probably acquiring customers against it. So like, getting to the creator. So if you're LinkTree, maybe you have like access to all these creators and that's a better way to monetize, right? I don't know. That's like, it might be hard to convert people from LinkTree to like using that type of product, but like that'd be an example of something that I would think about. And then there's probably like more of a data moat. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great idea. Yeah. Fan house, Lucy, that's a great idea. Like a company that's doing more of like the OnlyFans model or like a subscription model for your users, because like your users, if you're clicking on the link in bio, you're probably like a super fan of that person, right?
Exactly.
So like it's that's the natural time to acquire them as a paid subscriber or customer.
And most people are using Linktree to put their like fan house and OnlyFans links in. So I mean, I think OnlyFans is probably way too overvalued for Linktree to buy. Not sure how much fan house is worth at the moment, but I think it could be like somewhat affordable, maybe.
There we go.
Yeah.
They should let us run Linktree. No, I'm just kidding. I would never take that job.
Yeah. I think you're busy enough as is. Which, speaking of, how's everything going with Fractal?
Oh, it's going. People are buying JPEGs. They're buying NFTs. We're selling. We're doing a lot of primary drops with customers now. We're sorry with game companies. So we help game companies drop their collections for their games to the audience. And kind of like what we were saying, a lot of NFT collections are looking for, or most collections are looking for utility, and games are like one of the ways that people can create utility around a collection of digital assets. So I think that's that's kind of the trend. That's the future. It's been fun to work on, most importantly.
Has anything surprised you in the process so far?
I mean,
maybe you had some kind of hypothesis before, and then it was different when you were actually looking at day to day. That's
a great question. I love that question. I think a lot of it has been learning about all of this degen stuff that like kind of Lucy just talked about, like about this mechanic of like partially there's a little bit of a lottery mechanic. I think that how much people are willing to like buy into games that haven't launched yet is surprising. Although more and more of the games, I think that's going to change over time. more and more of the collections are being launched like concurrently with a game, instead of like way in advance of the game.
That feels like the market maturing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think those have been pretty interesting. I think how many different people are competing over like the infrastructure for a market that's like really new. Like this is, like there's not that many crypto games out there, but there's so many people who are like building like stuff for crypto games already. It's both like surprising, but it's also like, it makes me think there's definitely going to be a market here. I don't know. I see this as it's very similar to free to play, like 15 years ago, where when free to play first came out, people were kind of skeptical of it. There was a lot of like pushback from the gamer community, but then now it's the predominant business model of gaming. I think that NFTs are going to look the same way.
I only recently actually checked out the webpage, and the layout really reminded me of Twitch.
I was going to say the
all
same.
the new games and everything on the side. I was like, wait a second, has something changed since?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. We may have just copied Twitch.
Honestly, it looks like you did. I'm not gonna lie. If I designed Twitch, I mean, yeah, as a Twitch founder, the first thing I thought was, wow, he really just clicked a view source and took Twitch's layout.
Yeah. I might have, I don't know. No comment. The Twitch designers.
It's a different kind of platform, so it's okay.
Yeah, the Twitch designers are very talented. That's all I'll say. Obviously, Emmett has created, hired the best team and created an incredible company filled with like incredible talents. So I salute them. All right, should we move on to the final topic? I like this one. It's Meta apparently, purportedly paid a Republican consulting firm to push anti-TikTok campaigns. Did you guys hear about this?
I heard about it right when we started the podcast and we added it, so not yet.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Targeted Victory apparently planted op-eds and letters to the editor in major local and regional newspapers across the country to get the message out that TikTok is the real threat as a foreign-owned app that's number one in sharing data that young teens are using. I mean, I feel like this disinformation campaign, or maybe perhaps information campaign, has worked, because I totally think that TikTok is sus and just sharing data back to the Chinese government.
Yeah, I have been worried about that for a while, and they've been writing articles about this for at least the last year or so. I guess it's a little bit weird because it's coming from a competitor site that would have to benefit with TikTok having less presence in the US. That being said, it doesn't, reduce the validity of some of their claims.
I mean, I'm Chinese. Yeah. I would totally believe that TikTok is sending data back to China. I think I can say that.
There we go.
I mean, I remember reading an article, and it was talking about how they're storing all types of biometric data. They're looking at people's video. They're saving their voice information. They're creating profiles. And I just wouldn't be that surprised. I remember when I lived in Beijing for 6 months and I lost my phone and I got a Chinese phone, and I was looking at all of the permissions, and it was like, they have the right to tape your call. They have the right to make calls off your phone. They have the right to send text messages. I was like, okay, I've never seen anything like this before. I didn't use that phone for anything important, so it's okay.
There we go. So maybe, who knows what to believe? But like maybe we're all just repeating propaganda that we've been brainwashed with.
But I think the more interesting question is, even if it were true, do you think people would stop using TikTok? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
People are too addicted to TikTok for this to matter.
People don't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't care if someone has my data. Like, I have nothing to hide.
Nice.
And I assume the data is anonymized. But even if it's not, like, they can have all the data they want on me.
Well, what about the private keys for your MetaMask wallet? You got something to hide.
But you should not put that anywhere online.
It's not anywhere online.
In the physical world.
I won't say it's in the physical world, but it's not online.
All right, that's
good.
Lucy's got an air-gapped computer in a safe.
I mean, it's kind of the dystopian image of, at some point, if these companies know so much about you and they build these profiles, that's a lot of information. How are they going to use it? It might not be use cases we think of nowadays, since it hasn't happened. But I don't know what would happen. when the climate's changed 10 years from now.
I
When
agree
there's
with you.
Or when there's like a US-China war or something like that.
Yeah, they might use it to like, clone you, make an exact Chinese copy of you.
Or they can do what happened during the US election and like figure out who would be more likely to sympathize with China and send them targeted messages, things like that. I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but there are a lot of potential use cases, right?
Yeah, I agree. That's you're thinking ahead, Alex. I like that. So Chinese apps are sus. I guess that's what we've determined, and people are going to use them anyway.
But they're so good.
Has Reels made a
Yeah,
dent?
I mean,
at
the
all
data
in
itself
TikTok?
makes it
Like,
so good. Like, TikTok knows more about me than I know about me. They know more about everyone more than they know about themselves. Like, the For You page can figure out, like, your sexuality in about 30 seconds, I think. I have had friends tell me, Lucy, I thought I was straight. I'm not straight because of their TikTok For You page. So, we're fucked anyways.
Damn.
So none of these other competitors, like what happened to Reels and YouTube Shorts? Have these not like done anything?
I mean, I imagine they've made a dent. I don't know the numbers. I mean, I had a call with our YouTube manager, and they have a fund for shorts. They're really trying to get creators there to do original short content, and they also want people to not just post things from TikTok with the watermark if they're posting on shorts. So they're obviously making an aggressive push, but yeah, I think Lucy's right. The TikTok algorithm is just unbeatable in terms of showing you content that you're interested in. That's why they win.
Yep.
It's so hard to get a user's attention now, and TikTok is king.
Yep, and data is like the best moat.
Yes, Trump should have gone through with the executive order to ban TikTok. Maybe that would have been a good for the U.S. Internet industry.
I think it would have been good for children in general because their attention spans are so short already because of technology, and TikTok is just making it worse. And they have this like need for instant gratification, which TikTok does give, but it's just this like continuing effect where like even before TikTok, kids were having trouble reading, according to my high school English teacher, and now it really is just getting worse and worse and worse. But I'm happy TikTok's still here because I'm addicted.
Are you making TikToks, Lucy?
Not really. My TikToks.
She makes TikToks.
My TikToks are all festival
I've seen the
TikToks.
TikTok.
They're all festival. I'm glad you stalked me, Alex.
We're gonna
I'm
have to
flattered.
splice. We need to splice in. We need to put in some of Lucy's TikToks into the end of this.
Oh my god, no.
I think
Lucy's
we're
TikToks.
we're gonna end on
Give
that
me
note. We're gonna
FOMO
end on
every
that note.
single
It's like,
time.
Now, cue Lucy TikToks.
No. That's embarrassing. Go, I don't have TikTok. No.
All right, that's an incredible way to end. This is amazing. Thank you, guys. Let's now play the TikToks.
I think Lucy's excited that we're gonna share her TikTok.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
She say, babe, I'm nasty. I say me too. I like fucking you in public. She say me too. She don't